lot going on this week. Arizona high school basketball ramping up, lots of movement on the gridiron as well. So welcome on in to Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon. Got a great show lined up for you today. Jason Lyons was at Highland the last 9 years, eventually became the defensive coordinator. As Highland reached an open division playoff for the first time, he now gets his first opportunity as a head coach. Going over to Eastmark. If you're keeping up with the ladder, Travis Dixon was named the coach last year. Now he's over at Hamilton. So Jason Lyons will become the third head coach in 3 years for the Firebirds. So I'm going to catch up with him as well. And then Cody Cameron talking some recruiting all over what you need to do on Twitter, what camps you should go to, the camps that he actually helps out with as a counselor. So Cody Cameron, he was with me next week, got a little more insight this week as well that we will share with you. And then later in the show, we'll talk a little bit more about the Arizona basketball playoffs and dual sport athletes. But first, let's catch up with new Eastmark Firebirds head coach, Jason Lyons. Joined now by Jason Lyons, the new head coach at Eastmark High School, spent the last 9 years at Highland, defensive coordinator on some of the best defensive teams that I've seen in my time out here in Arizona over the last few years. How did this come about for you, Jason? How did you end up taking this job? You were comfortable
Well,
in Highland.
a couple of things. I love Highland, and I'm in a great spot there, and that's a wonderful community. I've never really been a huge proponent of trying to become a head coach. I always just kind of like the ball, and obviously as a head coach, you entail more roles than just the football. But there are unique situations that I've always kind of said I would be drawn to. And Eastmark happened to have a geographical aspect that kind of really started changing my views a little bit in that way. I live 7 minutes walking distance across the street from the high school. So that changed a lot of the arithmetic for us. The other part was their administration is really strong from a football standpoint. We are losing Mr. Luschner to Castile, which I'm excited for him, though. It's a great opportunity for him. And those are big shoes to fill, but we are fortunate having Jay Schinger at principal. He came through the Chandler system with Brock, actually, Farrell, back when Sean was there. And so having him in that principal role for me was important because I knew there was somebody who understood what they were chasing in terms of the growth of football and big football in Arizona. And then he actually reached out to Brock, and Brock kind of sat down with me and more or less, hey, I love you, kid. You don't have to leave. I'm not kicking you out, but you should probably explore this opportunity. It's a pretty good one. And then my wife also was a big proponent of exploring that opportunity too. She knows how much I love football and what kind of impact we've been able to have over at Highland. And we both really liked the idea of being able to do the same thing in our own neighborhood as well.
Now you're at a program, it's a new program, but it's third coach in 3 years.
Yeah.
What are you looking to bring in that shoes? Because I think stability is probably a big thing that they're looking for at this point.
That's exactly right. Stability. And I've been at Highland for 9 years, and I've had opportunities that I probably could have explored prior, but there was nothing that to me made sense. In the case of Eastmark, the geography is huge. The other aspect that was a big draw for me is the 7th and 8th grade academy model. And the reason I love that isn't necessarily a football perspective, which is a lot of where folks go with it, but it's actually because my sons are in 2nd grade and kindergarten. And I look at the long game. Usually I'm a chess player, so I like the idea of being on campus with my kids for 6 years as opposed to 4, and I'm sure they're not as excited, but being able to pop in the third hour and tell my son to stop being an idiot in English class is something that I value or want to be able to do later if I can. So
What does that say about, not only Brock, because we know Brock is one of the best coaches in the state, but really the coaching community here in football? I've talked to so many guys now where there's never hard feelings when you go somewhere else for the life quality, because at the end of the day, you're doing this because you enjoy it and you want to help kids and give back. And so if you're able to do that while also not having to commute and spend time with family, that's important. And it seems like you said Brock doesn't hold that against you. He pushed you towards it. And I think that's kind of the community that's grown out here in Arizona high school football too.
Absolutely. And you know, he is one of the best coaches I've ever been around, smartest guys I've ever been around. He's a better person. And he's a genuine person in that regard. And he and I are very close. I would equate him to I would say a little brother that I never had in that way. But he's also my mentor all at the same time. And it's a huge opportunity for me to be able to lean on him still when needed, learning what I'm learning on the ropes right now. He's been such a wonderful resource and support tool in that regard. And he's still doing a lot of things, obviously, on his own accord, too, and over there in Highland. And it was really hard to tell the kids, you know, as if you're doing this job for the right reasons, you're in it for the kids. And so explaining to them how your family sometimes dictates your decision making. And this isn't to not own my decision. It was mine. And I told the kids I wouldn't apologize for it, but I did want them to understand it was for reasons that maybe even going against my own self-interest in that I would love to continue to build and do the things we were doing at Highland as a defense coordinator and work with Brock. I just don't know if my family could have had some of the opportunities that this will hopefully open up for them in that regard too. You know, and trying to balance that and getting kids to understand it is tough, but they're great kids over there. And one of the best parts about Highland is their resiliency and their character of that neighborhood. Those kids show up and they push through hard times. And this is just another thing that they'll be able to overcome and get better from.
Last thing I got for you too, Jason, before we get out of here, you know, Eastmark, have you had a chance to meet the kids yet? And what are some of the things you're looking to instill as you kind of hit the ground running over there?
I have, and I'll tell you, I love the energy. These kids have had 3 coaches in 3 years. I'll tell you, hats off to Travis Dixon. He's a talented guy, obviously, for the job he was just got. And for what I will tell you is he left Eastmark in a good place. He left a model for me to continue and build on in a template that put us on the pathway we're going to try to go forward and grow that program into hopefully an East Valley power like many of the others. And when I look at their kids, they're hungry and they're craving that stability you're talking about, but they've also had success over there. This is not a rebuild or a tear down by any means. So for me, it was a lot about the idea of building continuity and then drawing up a plan that we can have a multi-year goal to work toward, and putting some more distance between that start and finish goal, not just a 1-year goal or just a season or a championship, etc., but trying to build that foundation and grow it into something that can be reloaded as opposed to rebuilded, you could say.
Custom ordering is at Santan Ford. Colors, wheels, trims, performance packages, and more from the factory right to your driveway. And you can even track your custom Ford every step of the way.
We are Santan Ford.
It's spring, so come for the games and have a ball in Arizona. Ready to go big? Plan your getaway today.
Bienvenidos.
Here in the heart of the American Southwest, you'll find 3 well-known restaurants all named Valle Luna, serving the finest Sonoran-style Mexican food known across the country and beyond. And we're open for business, so come on in. We've fired up the grill and iced down the refreshments and even added some specialties along the way.
Thanks for coming.
Hello. Greetings.
Welcome back.
No matter where you're from or how you say it, at Valle Luna, you're always welcome, and we're glad to have you back.
Discover more Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino.
Hi, folks. Here are your drinks.
Where having fun means racking up reward credits with the Caesars Rewards loyalty program. They can be redeemed for food, free play, hotel stays, and more. Not only here in the city of Maricopa, but also at more than 50 Caesars properties coast to coast. From Harrah's Las Vegas to Caesars Palace in Atlantic City. What are you waiting for? Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino, the official sponsor of Play.
When you get a home loan from Desert Financial, you're not just getting a mortgage. You get a mortgage. You'll get more competitive rates, more local servicing of your loan. We even offer a closing guarantee on select loans. And because more is better, get up to $5,000 closing cost credit when you use a participating real estate broker. At Desert Financial, we don't just do mortgages, we do mortgages. Click, call, or come in for more information on our great rates, local servicing, and how you can qualify for a closing cost credit of up to $5,000.
Joined now by Cody Cameron, Arizona varsity analyst, play-by-play broadcaster, camp counselor, crusher of golf balls, so many titles. Cody, welcome in. Did I miss any?
No, I think you got it all, man. I like that. It is camp season though, and you already know we're doing some product placement. We're rocking this brand new just top hat. No, not top hat. What do you call this? The beach sombrero. Rocking this, ready for California camp here in a couple months.
I say ready to go to Mexico, Costa Rica. You were just there.
I did. I was in Costa Rica for sure. Doing my traveling. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's camp season. Tell us a little bit, just what it's been like. You've been a camp counselor for a little bit now. What's the process like on your end?
So our built football camps for our company, American Youth Built, right here, once again, the product placement. 4 campsites, all under the Built title. One in Heber, one in our Tonto Creek, Built Tonto, and then my favorite, the one I coordinate, the Built California camp out in Thousand Oaks.
What are some of the experiences that they're getting at these camps?
Yeah, so I'm the East Valley rep, and but we have a West Valley rep who does a great job too, especially just building relationships with coaches the last 10 to 15 years. Just going through the districts, man. Chandler Unified, we take 4 of the 6 teams in Chandler Unified to camp. I love talking to those football coaches, most of them in the Premier region, and even Arizona College Prep and with Stephen Vaught, and seeing some of the new coaches, some of the new faces, Travis Dixon, who I got to meet last year at Eastmark, and seeing these guys take over these programs early and get involved immediately in the weights, in the classroom, making sure these kids this is the time for them to have their best GPAs, right? So seeing them be hands-on with outside of football, their life and creating a bond and a brotherhood early. Those are some of the things I see, but all the districts, Gilbert Public Schools, Mesa Public Schools, Queen Creek Unified School District, seeing all these coaches every single day when it's not football season to see how much of an impact they make in those players' lives and just getting the structure together and working on the culture is really, really cool.
So that's the big thing at camp, right? It's the culture, the bonding. What's some of the football that goes on there as well?
It's just a lot of learning. I think it's a great tool to sharpen your schools, especially when you look at like introduction to playbook, right? When you talk about the varsity level and these guys are returning players and all that. You're not just learning the basics, right, of the handoff, but you are just hardening and utilizing the playbook. A lot of schools like to go right before they start school, so they have 2 or 3 practices a day and they feed right into that. But just mastering the playbook, and looking at reads and stuff like that. But for the freshmen, it is learning. A lot of these times, a lot of the freshmen that come in, outside of some of the conditioning and first couple practices in the months of June, it's really the first time they get to be with their whole team, and not just their team, but the entire program. And so I love what I love outside of football from that is they have the buddy system, right? That's the big brother system of seeing those freshmen be with some of the incoming seniors and getting them transition to the program and make them feel like not only are they part of the program, but they're a part of something special. And so I love that aspect. But for football, man, they're putting in work in.
Yeah, here with Cody Cameron. Anyone following the high school football scene out here knows Cody, players, coaches, parents, everybody. Seen recently, you've been, you mentioned Travis Dixon. You've been going around to different schools and helping out with some of these recruiting clinics. What's that been like, and what are you talking about there mostly?
Something I did a couple years ago, and it just kind of has taken off. And this year, I think I already have about 6 to 7 planned. I just call it a recruiting clinic, and it's not something that it is something that I've done the last 6 years covering college football recruiting in the state of Arizona. But I tell people all the time, I'm very, very transparent with them and saying, hey, this is the recruiting process and the model changes every year. It changes constantly every month, especially in this new realm of NIL and transfer portal. It's just keeping them up to date. I'm lucky to where I talk to college coaches on a frequent basis, and I'm just relaying the message to them. And to me, sometimes it's just coaches asking me, "Hey, Cody, this is the message I'm trying to come across to my parents." But a lot of times, parents are just thinking the coach doesn't have their best interest, which is asinine to me because these high school coaches here, 100% too, they're all great people. But sometimes just reiterating the same message they're talking about, hey, don't have the D1 bus mentality. Please treat all college coaches with respect because heck, that NAIA coach or that D3 coach is recruiting you one day. He might be a Division II coach down the road, or that might be your only opportunity to go play college football. So it's a lot of that. But I'm still old school mentality because that's what these college coaches are recruiting in terms of Friday game film, really good grades, opening doors, and being a multi-sport athlete. So just presenting that in about a 30 to 45 minute discussion, and then leaving 20 minutes for a Q&A with the parents and me, and it's gone really well.
What are some of the things they're asking? Because, you touched on the importance, and I think pretty much all of us in this space out here in Arizona, we preach the same things. Get your tape right, get your social media right, make sure your grades are good, get all of that out there and see that. So that's such an important thing. But what are some of the questions about, that landscape that you're getting?
So a lot of it is off-season work. So, hey, Cody, what should we do in the months of January to June? Great questions. And I touched that too, where I'm a big, big believer in only spending money and your time on camps that have college coaches present. Because I've covered these exposure camps and I've gone to a lot of camps that are held in dead period in the months of February and March, where they claim, hey, if you come here and you spend X amount of dollars, we're going to get you we're going to get your son recruited. We're going to send your iPhone 40 time and whatever he's doing out in these one-on-one matchups. We're going to send to coaches and they're going to get recruited. And it's the biggest baloney I've ever heard because college coaches do not care about some random exposure camp and random iPhone time and all this random stuff. But what a random person is saying about you, at the end of the day, they want to see you in person. And we're in a state that has done a great job of having exposure weeks and eval periods in the end of April and May during spring ball where they all come out here and they go to these exposure camps.
Had a little bit of time between the end of the season. Now you're getting it for camp season. How's the golf game looking, Cody?
It's shaky. You know how it is, Jordan. It's one of the hardest sports I've ever tried to play. I've been really fortunate to golf with some awesome people. Unfortunately, I had to golf with Brad a couple of weeks ago. And
Me too.
We got after it, but it's a great time. I always tell people, man, I drive for dough instead of putt for dough. I drive for dough, and I'll three putt with the best of them. I love being in the 90 to 95 range, but I'm a social golfer. Get me out there, I'm gonna have a great time regardless.
Appreciate your time, Cody. One more time for people that are interested, coaches, players, parents that see this, the camps. How do they get involved? Whether it's this year, years in the future, what do they need to do?
Go to our Twitter at AYBuilt. We got a bunch of new swag. I'm repping this. We got the all white hoodie. This is all for you guys. We got gifts. We got this beach thing. But at AYBuilt, we do things the right way. We're all about football. Just hit us up or just call me at Cody T. Cameron. Shoot me a DM. We're rocking. But everything football, baby, we're rocking.
The President's Day sales event is going on all month long at Burge Volkswagen with 0% financing up to 60 months on all final 2023 Tiguan, Atlas, and Atlas Cross Sports. And on 2024 Taos and Tiguans, get 3.9% financing up to 72 months. Drive the 2024 Jetta S starting at only $22,995. Presidential savings are on now at Burge Volkswagen, where your trade-in is worth thousands more than you might think. Burge Volkswagen, Baseline and Country Club, and BurgeVW.com.
Let's talk about Venezia's Pizzeria, New York style pizza. Oh man, this looks so good. Pizza dough is made fresh daily, wings, subs, sandwiches, pasta. They cater, they deliver. They have 5 Valley locations. Venezia's New York style pizzeria.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Basta move, basta move, basta move, basta move.
What would you need to experience life in full motion? Expertise to provide the best care, unsurpassed training and technique. It requires the best orthopedic surgeons. Ortho Arizona.
So this week we've got Arizona high school basketball playoffs really ramping up. The Elite Eight in basketball and the Open Division, all the divisions on the boys' side, the girls' side, happening this Thursday, Friday, girls on Thursday, guys on Friday. And this is something that's really cool. If you follow the basketball scene, there's a lot of elite basketball here. I know on this show, we talk about just how amazing the football is in the state, but the basketball growth and the way that it is played right now and the level of talent all over the state, it is phenomenal. So definitely go over to the website, the AIA website, and check out some of those games. But dual sport athletes is something we've talked a lot about on the show over the last few weeks. And there are a couple that you could see in some of these games, including Don Tinsley at Perry. Perry, one of the powerhouses, not only in Arizona, but in the country in basketball. Don Tinsley, a wide receiver, running back, athlete for the football team, also playing on the hardwood for the Pumas. And Dalen Sharper over at Brophy Prep, absolute stud on the football field. And from what I hear, I haven't seen him yet. From what I hear, a very, very good basketball playmaker, can make plays all over the field and make things happen. So those are two guys, your little bit of football ties on this one, but it really is important because a lot of times we talk about, playing your sport and being the best that you can. And if you play football, a lot of times it's all you want to do. You want to go play football in your season in the fall, and then you want to train, and then you want to go play sevens. But when you test your body and you allow yourself to become more athletic in positions that you wouldn't use in football, like you would in basketball or that you would in baseball, or track, I think translates a little more to football because of running form and the things you learned there, but, or, even as a lineman, learning the shot put, getting stronger, things like that. But specifically sports like basketball and baseball, which just started up this week as well, there's a lot of opportunity to not only give certain joints on your body a rest. There's a lot of ways that playing basketball and baseball and all the other sports, along with playing football, allows your body to perform at its best, because when you're constantly doing the same things over and over again, injuries tend to happen. It's something that I personally experienced going from playing water polo and football and baseball to just playing baseball. And even as an outfielder, I ended up tearing my UCL. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I was not some great athlete. I was going to play at a community college, whoop-de-doo. It's not that big of a deal. But it is something to keep in mind. Parents and athletes watching this, when you have the opportunity to play multiple sports, don't let coaches, especially outside your program and these 7 camps and these recruitment camps, tell you, you got to come to all of these things so that you can get your college scholarship offer. What coaches care about, and I know Cody touched on it, your film, your grades. How are you in your community? How does your athleticism translate to the next level? All of those things will be beneficial to you if you are playing other sports, more so than just focusing on football, weight room, and that's it. You want to be diversified. You want to be able to do different things. And hey, it's fun. If you only love football, hey, stick to it. There's nothing wrong with just honing in on your craft. But if you have other interests, if you have ways that you want to keep your body moving in different manners, definitely give other sports a try. That's my rant. Thanks for joining us this week. Claudia Collins back soon from maternity leave. Super excited for that on Bleacher Talk. But until then, we'll see you next week.
We got them at Santan Ford. From the latest all-electrics to the most rugged 4x4s and America's best-selling truck.
We are Santan Ford.
Bienvenidos.
Here in the heart of the American Southwest, you'll find 3 well-known restaurants all named Valle Luna, serving the finest Sonoran-style Mexican food known across the country and beyond. And we're open for business, so come on in. We've fired up the grill and iced down the refreshments and even added some specialties along the way.
Thanks for coming.
Hello. Greetings.
Welcome back.
No matter where you're from or how you say it, at Valle Luna, you're always welcome, and we're glad to have you back.
It's spring, so come for the games and have a ball in Arizona. Ready to go big? Plan your getaway today.
Visit us at Harrah's Auction Casino in the city of Maricopa, where you'll find play for all and friendly people ready to welcome you like family.
Welcome back, you two.
As the official sponsor of Play and the only casino in Arizona with Caesars Rewards, see what a difference it makes to play where your fun is our top priority. Harrah's Auction Casino. Play for all.